What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Underdog Sports Podcast. I am your host, Nolan Skeen, alongside Antonio Fiore, Salestrina. Gentlemen, how are we doing?
Doing really good.
Antonio thought he robbed DraftKings.
Yeah, now Robert De Niro's not going to come find me and try to saw off my hand.
Yeah, get into it. Tell us a story.
Well, I woke up on... So, actually, no, we'll start on... When the Jags game was Saturday night. So, Saturday night, I went into DraftKings, and I knew the Jags were plus money at the time to live bet to win the game at like plus 115 or something like that. And I knew I had $20 left in my DraftKings, so I was like, I mean, fuck it. I'm just going to throw this $20 on there, and we'll see what happens. So I go in the morning. I knew I won the bet, and I go on to DraftKings in the morning on Sunday to figure out what I'm going to do for my parlays on Sunday. I didn't make any parlays on Sunday because I thought I robbed DraftKings. I look in the top right on DraftKings, and it says 2.1K in my account. I'm like, this can't be right.
Did you do like a refresh, or did you like close out of the app? Like you definitely
A million times, dude. I did a million times. And well, I sent screenshots of my won bets too, but it was obviously all the way at the bottom. So Sal just finds out for me. Like we literally thought DraftKings just handed me $2,000. And it goes through to my bank. That was the big question is it going to be approved by DraftKings and then put in my bank account? And
Yeah, because there's like a process that they go through to like...
It's like reviewed, approved, process. It's like there's like...
Probably in the event that these sort of things happen. You're
well,
like,
so
yeah.
Now people are telling me like I had like two friends that were like, oh dude, try to be careful, like the Fed might come for you. I'm like, stop saying that because it's worrying me. And then two, I'm like, it would be their mistake. They put it in my account. So Sal walks in here like 10 minutes ago. He's like, you're a fucking idiot. Give me your DraftKings. He goes, I have to look at your DraftKings. And I'm like, dude, I don't know what you're gonna find. And then he goes, you're a fucking idiot. He finds a bet that I placed for $50 from August 21st, probably after we did this podcast, for the Vikings to win their division at plus 260, the Jaguars to win their division at
plus 750.
Plus 750, and the Buffalo Bills to win their division. So I'm thinking...
Cash,
with
$50.
Yeah,
I'm thinking the Vikings are... Everybody loved the Vikings before the season, so I was pretty confident in that. I was confident in the Bills pick.
I mean, the Jaguars.
I was just like, this is gonna come down to the Jaguars, but I didn't. It was outlandish, but it wasn't totally out of the question. They got talent, and obviously they won the division.
And that division's terrible.
Yeah.
So like
That's
literally
what I mean.
Anybody could have won.
Yeah, that was cool.
That's
Now I
awesome.
feel really smart after having a year of betting
you
football.
You probably definitely feel a little less on edge that like someone's not going to kill you in the middle of the night.
That's true.
And you feel good that you're like, oh, I'm a smart motherfucker, and I predicted 3 of the division winners, and I had money on it. So good for him.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to use that to pay off my car insurance for the year. Isn't that so much fun?
No,
but
that's a
good.
big weight off your
that's
shoulders.
Good,
Still
like,
good.
It's like just do like $1,000 parlay this week. I'm like, come on.
No, I have a $500 parlay.
Turns it into like $50K.
You gotta do like $100 parlay.
No, I'm gonna definitely do more than $100.
Right,
Sal,
good boy.
I love betting playoff football.
Good boy.
I love
Playoff football's good.
Yeah, playoff football.
Speaking of that,
we're here.
Yeah,
we're here.
It's the playoffs.
It always goes by so fast. I was thinking like before we did this today, I was like, man, I feel like it was just yesterday when we were talking about who's gonna win the division and all that. Like
Seriously?
week 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then boom, now we're here. Week
Obviously,
19.
I don't remember it that well.
Week 19. No. It's like far enough away where you don't really remember what we talked about, but then you're like, holy shit, it's been.
No, but like I remember sitting here in like the middle of August, like talking about like, oh, like the Jaguars are a dark horse, or
Yeah.
oh, like like the Bills are definitely winning, or like whatever, dude. It's just like you sit here and it's like you're waiting, you're anticipating that first Thursday night game with the Bills and the Rams, and now it's like, oh, this week is the first week of the playoffs. It's like how does it go that quickly?
We'll have to like before the next one or something. We'll have to kind of see how we did on our division. I was gonna say we could probably remember most of them off the top of our head, but I think we did pretty well.
Oh, I can't, dude.
No,
My memory
divisions-
is shit.
Divisions the year before we did really bad. I'm pretty sure this year we did.
We must have
very
kicked ass this
good.
year
No,
because
I
we
think
were on the Jaguars.
I was on the Eagles. I don't know if you guys were on the
I
Eagles.
was also. I took the Eagles.
I don't remember.
I think I was on the Vikings train unless I like.
I know the NFC East. We got.
Oh, yeah,
we did
Vikings.
better.
Yeah.
I think
sure.
we swept the NFC. I think.
Yeah, we got the Bucks.
I don't know if we got San Francisco.
I definitely took San Francisco. I don't know if you guys took.
I said they were going to be very good, but I
Who
don't.
would I have taken?
The Rams.
Maybe.
I might have taken the Rams, but there's a
didn't like the
possibility I took
Rams,
San
though,
Fran.
There's also Stafford questions at the beginning of the season.
I was gonna say
so
we'll have to gather that information.
But, like,
Yeah, and I thought about that at the beginning too. When they said his elbow wasn't good, and then the first 2 weeks went by, I was like, he's not good.
stinky.
I did take Baltimore to win their division. I think both of us did. Because we said they were going to be. We said they were going to be really good this year.
Cincy under 10 wins. And
I loved Baltimore.
I didn't like that. I
that
hated
was
when you
bad.
said that about.
That
Cincy.
was bad.
I loved Baltimore in the beginning of the year. I know I did because I was like, Lamar's playing for a contract.
I think a lot of people did, though. I think a lot of people. Wow, I'm wearing purple for the Vikings and for the Ravens. I just realized that. So that's two of my picks right there.
Oh wow.
Just so everyone is aware.
No,
everyone did. Everyone liked Lamar. That was the narrative heading into the year was Lamar in the contract year, and he's out to prove everyone wrong. And
now he's milking an injury.
Well, is that the case?
Yes.
Sounds like it.
You fully convinced me last week.
I said that last week. But
Sal, you fully convinced me. There's no way.
Why is he not practicing again this week?
Bro, he hasn't practiced since what, week 10?
It's been 6 weeks, so
week 12?
Yeah.
Bro, 6 weeks, and it was just a sprained PCL.
You know what the last game he played was? That Jacksonville game that they blew up.
Yeah, the game he got hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it didn't look like that bad of an injury, and they said it was a sprain.
They said 1 to 3 weeks.
They said 1 to 3 weeks when he got hurt, so there's no shot he's not ready to play right now. There's no way.
Is this all a ploy, and then Sunday night he comes out and they're like, Lamar's starting? Like,
yeah, what has he been practicing in secret? If he comes out and he starts, I mean, the guy.
The fact that he hasn't practiced is crazy.
I'm not saying practicing in secret, but could they just be like, Lamar, you're healthy enough to play Sunday, you're going? Like,
maybe they definitely could say that.
Huntley didn't throw at practice today, and granted it's Wednesday and they have till Sunday, but like Huntley did not throw at practice today. So if it's Anthony Brown Jr. again, they're gonna lose by 700.
Right? Yeah,
I don't know what kind of contract he's like expecting. I don't know if. Because that's the issue.
It's definitely a very interesting.
It's a delicate subject.
It is delicate because the guy in the regular season when he's playing, that team just wins games. But then you look at the playoffs, he's played only 4 playoff games, but still he's 1-3, and his passer rating is garbage in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So
the stats are terrible.
2 things: the top 4 highest paid quarterbacks all did not make the postseason this year.
Interesting.
Number 2,
Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers.
Oh,
hold on, let me get it.
I took the Broncos to win that division.
Okay, Russell Wilson,
I mean, maybe not
Aaron Rodgers. Well, Tom Brady's not one of them. Hang on.
I know the third. I don't know the fourth.
Wilson, Rodgers,
Stafford.
Same division.
Kirk Cousins?
Same division.
No, not for
Kyler?
That's stupid. Yeah.
Wow.
So
they really fucked up that Kyler Murray.
So the real question is, what does Lamar deserve? Does Lamar deserve? I think Lamar deserves Kyler Murray money.
What's Kyler Murray's contract?
45 over 5.
I definitely think he deserves that.
I'm not.
But does he want that though?
Well, he probably wants to be the highest paid.
Which I don't think he deserves.
I don't either.
But when you put it in that perspective,
that's what's Russell Wilson's?
No, it's Rodgers, and he makes 51 or 52, maybe.
So like you're telling me they should do 51.5.
Just slightly under.
Like 51.25.
The other issue with that though is like, what are you gonna do when he inevitably like gets hurt or whatever? It's like you're paying this dude $50 million out of your $200 million salary cap. Like that's not worth it.
I mean, it goes with any player that you're wanting to pay. It's like, look at what happened with Kyler Murray. Yeah. He gets paid and he just tore his ACL, MCL. He probably won't even be ready for the next year. So
now, it's not like Jackson is like,
and they're gonna have a new head coach who's gonna start the year without his quarterback. Like they're in a shitty situation. And the JJ Watt just retired. I mean, he didn't really have that big of an impact on that team. He
turned up at the end of the year.
He's a hospital.
Well, at the end of the year, he was just like, I'm the best player ever.
Since he left Houston, he was a hospital.
Yeah.
Like his shoulders are the worst shoulders I think ever. Like he probably just metal shoulders at this point.
I mean, if you can bench 1,855 pounds, then your shoulders.
It's crazy that run he had was like 10 years ago at this point. JJ Watt.
He should have won MVP that year.
He was definitely the most explosive player that anyone's ever seen coming in that position. I mean,
who's the biggest disappointment of the 2022 NFL season?
Russell Wilson.
The Broncos.
The team? Yeah, it's the Broncos. Yeah.
Well, Russell Wilson specifically.
Both
if you're talking about players,
Russell Wilson, yeah.
If you're talking about player, okay, we can look at this. So most
the Raiders.
Disappointing.
Raiders got to be up there too.
Most disappointing players though. So Derek Carr, Russell Wilson, who else? Mac Jones, I'd say.
Matt Jones is definitely.
He was in the Pro Bowl last year.
That's a good one.
I think you have to say Kyler Murray because he had a very good season last year. They were a very good
Yeah,
team.
that's true. He did get hurt though. That kind of puts an asterisk on it because people are gonna look at it and be like, "Oh, he got hurt."
He did get hurt. I don't think he was playing great either. They weren't winning football games.
And DeAndre Hopkins was out 10 weeks. So there's that too. You know, they had James Conner. Like he didn't really have that much.
Another pat ourselves on the back. Who do we say was going to be the worst team in the NFL?
The Bears.
And who was the worst team in the NFL?
It didn't look like they were going to be after like week 5.
Well, they were like 2-3.
Yeah.
I think we knew that them and Houston were going to be fighting for it.
Yeah. That one was like, I wish I bet that before that. Because me and you felt really good about that one.
Yeah.
That roster is ugly.
Terrible. And we thought, now, Justin Fields might have a little sun to him, but also at the beginning of the year, we were trashing him, saying he's terrible.
I love the Lions before the year, too.
You were big on the Lions. So, do the Bears trade the pick, or do they trade Fields?
Oh, because they're the Bears and they're stupid. They're
interesting.
probably going to trade the pick.
I think they trade the pick.
I mean, yeah. No, they're going to trade Fields.
Is Fields
that's what I meant to say.
Is Fields their starter for the future? Like, is Fields a starting quarterback?
Yes, I think so.
I think he's definitely showed enough for that team.
He's very good.
If they moved off him,
he was like top 5 in rushing this year.
That's what I mean. If they moved off him after this year, that
looks
so bad considering the moves that they've made in the past within the top 3 picks and all those kind of things.
You want to talk about like Lamar having no weapons? Name me a receiver on that team. Like, just name me a receiver.
Dante Pettis.
Darnell
is
Mooney.
That even true?
Nikhil Harry on the Bears.
Yeah.
Darnell Mooney was supposed to be a lot better than
Darnell Mooney. He was probably their best. Nikhil Harry.
Think about that. Your number 1 receiver is Darnell Mooney.
Right.
Nikhil Harry. He's terrible.
Like, their offensive line's bad, and then think about this too. Their defense was like a bottom 7-8 unit.
It was literally their running backs and Justin Fields, who is their third running back.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they trade Fields, they're stupid because, like, what are you going to do? Spend another 2 years now seeing if this quarterback that you just drafted is your guy
I don't
or
think
not?
they trade him away. I think he's done way too much this year for them to just trade him away.
Well, I think you have to trade one or the other. You don't have to. That's kind of dumb.
I think they hold on to the pick. I do.
You think they just take best available player?
I think this draft coming up is a very defensive-heavy draft. And I think you find a really good defensive piece that you can build around on the defensive end of the side of the ball, and then try to look to maybe in free agency get a solid wide receiver for Justin Fields to throw to. They have Cole Kmet. He's a really good tight end. I do think that they have potential to build something if they do it smart, but they probably won't because they're a terrible organization.
I agree, and I loved Cole Kmet in the beginning of the year for fantasy. I had him on my team. He got like zeros the first 4 weeks.
And then he just started having like 15 every week.
Look at what happened to the Jets when they found a solid defensive back in Sauce Gardner that they could fucking build around. And look at what happened in the beginning of the year. They were an exciting team. We were like, holy shit, are they gonna make the playoffs? Like, and they were 1 or 2 games away. Like, they could have easily made the playoffs. I mean, you look at what happens when you build around the defense. You build around the defense, and luckily, the Bears already have their quarterback of the future. They have, and he's also a running back. So, like, you literally kill 2 birds with 1 stone there. You get a wide receiver. You draft a really good defensive back, linebacker, what have you, whoever the best available is. And then you look to see build around that.
Yeah, and when it comes to trading the pick, if I were the Bears, and I want to trade that number 1 pick, I would definitely want to still have a pick in the top 7 at least, and I want another first-round pick to happen before pick 25.
Well, if someone's moving up to 1, they're giving you 3 to 4 first-round picks.
And I don't think Matt Eberflus is the answer either.
I mean, I think we could have said that last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but who would they have? Make a swing at Sean Payton?
I was going to say.
Sean Payton's not going there.
Yeah. Who wants to
Make
go?
Sean Payton is the pitch of the NFL. It's like, and we've talked about
He literally does.
That's what I mean. What proven coach would go into that situation?
No one.
Cliff Kingsbury, if you give him enough money.
Honestly,
they wouldn't do that.
I think that would be better than Eberflus.
I would love to see him as the Patriots offensive coordinator because he was their 3rd string before Brady became like the
I was talking to him before this.
Yeah, I
forgot you weren't there.
I want to see that.
Have you been on Patriots Twitter too? They are convinced that the
Cliff
Patriots
Kingsbury.
are getting DeAndre Hopkins. They're convinced that they're getting DeAndre Hopkins.
That'd be a nice little partnership.
I mean, it is
No,
what it
But
is.
it's still Matt Jones, so
It is still Mac Jones.
With the Kingsbury thing, I just don't. I don't see him staying in the NFL. I think he takes another college head coach job somewhere.
I think so
What, to
too.
go 5-7 right now?
I know. Well, I
Like,
know he wasn't a good college head coach, but
Bro,
I mean,
he's gonna get a bag though.
This shows that he's the worst head coach ever. He was 5-7 with Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I mean,
with-
but if they pay him enough, why wouldn't
with
you?
Patrick Mahomes.
If they go, yo, we're giving you $100 million to come coach our college team, he's definitely gonna do
yeah,
that.
He'll do that.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know. I just don't see him being an offensive coordinator anywhere, and I don't know how successful he'd be either.
I think if
he's a good play caller.
if he's serious about staying in the NFL, he'll take an OC job. But if he wants money, he's gonna go to college.
Yeah, I don't know. Some guys
I don't think anyone's gonna hire him as a head
just
coach.
College guys, though. I don't know, but he wasn't a good coach in college, so maybe he's not.
I think the thing that's working for him is the fact that there isn't really that many good head coaches on the market right now.
He's not gonna be head coach next year.
I feel
guarantee.
like
Nobody's lining up to hire Nathaniel Hackett.
Well, the thing too is like all the jobs suck. Like who really wants to go to Denver?
Who wants to go to Houston?
Yeah,
Nobody. They don't have anything. They don't have anything going for them.
I don't see Kingsbury.
And then
being
they
NFL
went
next
and
year.
won the game when they should have had the number 1 pick. I mean, it is what it is, but
the Colts threw that game. That is that is the most throw I've ever seen in my life. It was 4th and 20. The defensive back literally just watched the ball. Like he watched the ball going in the end zone.
neither team wanted to win. I'm
Also,
convinced
yeah.
neither team wanted
And
to
then
win
with
that
the
game.
Lovie Smith thing, like if you're the head coach and you know you're getting fired,
Oh,
like,
you want to win
yeah,
that game.
What are you gonna do?
Oh,
Go
yeah.
out there and like listen to the organization when they say try to lose? I'm like, okay, you're gonna fire me anyway. Fuck
Yeah,
you.
fuck
We're gonna go out here and
you.
win
Yeah,
this game.
fuck
We're
you.
playing
You're
another
gonna fire
shitty
me
team.
anyway.
Imagine you're getting fired after the end of the game too. It's like I don't care. It's like
Yeah.
I'll go for it on 4th down every time.
Literally, dude. Oh, by the way, can we talk about this? I love Dan Campbell.
I knew
If there was a Dan
it was
Campbell
gonna be a Dan
jersey,
Campbell thing.
I am buying one. Bro, he is my father.
That lateral play was one of the wildest.
Bro,
plays.
they were doing the wildest shit, and it was all in spite of Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, and I was so for it.
You know what's funny too? Like if they played that game and Seattle lost, they would have not played anywhere like that.
No.
So it's like
It would have been a tight, like, 10-3 game.
yeah,
like
but
it,
like that ended up working to the detriment of the Packers was the Seahawks winning, and you would have really thought the inverse, where like okay, if Seattle loses and Detroit has a chance at that end, like Detroit's gonna play like their best football. It's like
No, see, my thought process was
And
the
I
same exact
love-
thing as
I
yours.
love
Yeah.
them.
I had the weirdest hunch that Seattle was winning in the afternoon, and then because everybody's all over the Packers, that Detroit would just end up winning.
I love them next year. Especially if Aaron Rodgers leaves, they're winning that division.
yeah, Kirk's not going back to back. Kirk might be out this week.
You think so?
Let's get into it.
You say he might be out?
out?
Oh yeah, the playoffs.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll get into it.
no, like his weenie's out.
But no, I think final point on Detroit. They definitely I think they deserved to be in that playoff spot. I do think Seattle deserved it too. I mean, Seattle's played good. They had a slide recently, but like the whole year they've been really fucking good.
I think that's a team that deserves to make the playoffs, and that's why
Geno Smith broke Russell Wilson's passing yards record for the Seahawks. Like, come on. They definitely deserve to be there. That's the beauty of the 2 7 seeds. I feel like both of them definitely deserve to be there out of the teams that could have made it. You could argue in the NFC for the Lions.
Detroit, yeah.
I was gonna say Detroit. You
You
could.
could, but I think for most of the year, Seattle was probably the best bet.
What they start off?
Same thing with
5-0
Miami.
or 5-1 or something
Yeah.
like that. They were leading their division for
Same with
almost
Miami.
half the season.
Same with Miami. I mean, out of Pittsburgh, Patriots, and Miami, I'm saying Miami was definitely the most deserving. So, whatever.
Let's talk about this Seahawks traveling to
Do you
San
want to talk
Fran?
about it?
San Fran. Oh yeah,
Are you all right? Do you
What?
want to talk about it?
Yeah.
I'm
Let's talk about
I'm
it.
feeling okay. Plus 9.5.
We could talk about it if you can.
Plus
if you want
plus
to.
9.5. Seattle Seahawks over unders 42.5 points. Initial thoughts.
Just as we're talking positive about the Seahawks, huh?
I think they cover that 9.5. I think that's an easy cover for them.
It's like I have this one thought like throughout the entire week about a football game, and then I get the microphone in front of me and I look down.
And then you're
and
like,
I'm
"Are you sure?"
Because I know the
The
world.
podcast is a good.
I think the world is expecting
Equalizer.
San Francisco to kind of kick the crap out of this team, but I mean, the reality is that these two teams have had some classics in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But looking at the matchups from this year, it definitely favors San Francisco, huh?
So the first game, San Fran killed them in San Fran. The second game, San Fran controlled a lot of that game, but I would still say that Seattle had some missed chances in that.
Also,
game.
they played.
I think Pete Carroll is going to have a really good plan going into this game, and I think they keep it close. But I do think San Fran wins. I think 9.5 is a lot in this spot for these two teams, especially the way Seattle's played this whole year. I think Geno Smith is going to be good. I don't think he's going to poop. I think a lot of people probably will expect him to poop. I think a lot of people are going to expect Brock Purdy to poop because, he's looked untouchable so far. I don't know. Are the lights too bright for him? I don't know. I think he's going to look tense.
Very good point.
I think he's going to look tense. I think this under is very, very good. I think this under is a good pick because I think both teams are going to play really tight. I think both of them are going to try to run the ball down each other's throat. There's not going to be many points scored. This is like a 13-10 San Fran win.
No, I
especially in the early window.
If the Seahawks lose, I just don't really see it being because of the quarterback, because of Geno Smith. I just think
I agree.
San Francisco is just so good. I'm gonna take San Francisco on the 9.5, but I don't think it's like an insane blowout for the entire game. I think it's one of those games that'll kind of stay closer for most of it, and then as we're getting deeper into the fourth quarter, San Francisco's just going to kind of start controlling the game more, pull away a little bit, kick some field goals maybe at the end, and I say they win the game by maybe 14 or 10 points or so.
I don't know, Sal, have you been paying attention to what they're saying about Brock Purdy? Have they been talking about him at all? Do they just think he's going to be the greatest quarterback ever?
That's a really good point that you made, is that he's a third string. He's a rookie and never started.
Yeah.
He's the last pick in the draft. He was the last pick for a reason.
I don't think anyone's really been talking a lot about Brock. They just like the 49ers as a team. A lot of the stuff I hear is how good of a team they are, not how good of a
This might be a record-setting playoff where we have 3 backups. I mean, he's a third string, but 3 backups playing in the
Well, I think
playoffs.
you're also right about that. I think there's 5 quarterbacks in the playoffs this year. Maybe I think it's 6 that are making their first playoff start.
That's insane. That's insane. I mean, it's one of these quarterbacks. I mean, obviously Brock Purdy's probably the least likely, but one of them is going to shit their pants. It just happens. You get there, the lights are too bright. It's such a big stage. Everyone's watching you.
So Nolan, you stole probably every point I wanted to make.
Oh, really? Sorry.
No, you're fine. I was thinking this on the way here. I was like, Brock Purdy has literally been the man since he took over, and it's how can he keep looking this good, especially when it comes to if you turn the ball over, you might lose the game. In a tight if you do anything dumb, you might lose the game. And I think the Seahawks have zero pressure on them Sunday or Saturday.
I agree.
There is no expectations for the Seahawks to go in there and do absolutely anything in that game. They barely got in. They probably feel $1 million for skating by and getting in. They needed to beat the Rams, and they needed the Packers to lose, and they got both things to happen for them. I don't know if you guys saw the video of Geno was dancing and it was the tunnel or something at the Seahawks practice facility. Geno was dancing, hitting the gritty, and then Pete Carroll comes flying in on a scooter. I was like, they love
dude,
life.
They just
right
have
now.
fun, dude.
So,
they're having fun.
The other thing I want to bring up is San Francisco is 2-0 against them, and in the NFL, it is extremely hard to win a game three times against one team in the course of a season.
I'm saying an experienced coach is always going to have a good plan.
I think Pete Carroll's great is very overstated. Pete Carroll's a very good coach. I'm taking the Seahawks plus 9.5. The Seahawks are a live dog and can win this game on the field.
I agree. I think, what you brought up is a good point. They have no pressure at all. No pressure at all. Everyone expects San Fran to win this game.
And what would be better for the sports books than everyone having their money line parlay blow up on the first game of the weekend, just for them to go chasing on the rest of the games?
This game is gonna be a indicator for a lot of people how the weekend's gonna go.
So this is the only other thing I'll say regarding money wise. It's very heavily skewed towards San Francisco, obviously. And I feel like those games go one of two ways. Either San Fran comes in and is going to kick the absolute crap out of them, and it's 38-0, or Seattle wins this game. And I'm taking the latter. I think Seattle can win this game. I'm not picking them necessarily to win this game, but I think they have a very good chance to win this game.
Yeah, that 9.5 is a good.
I love 9.5 with them.
Very good.
You got to think there's going to be a shock at some point this weekend, huh?
I think that's my pick. I think that's honestly my pick.
Because
Dude,
that, honestly, looking at
on
it,
the same wavelength.
that's the biggest mismatch.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at maybe you could argue Miami.
Oh no!
You could argue Miami and
with
Buffalo.
Skyler is definitely the biggest mismatch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was the biggest mismatch in which the underdog could do something.
Yeah.
Is what I thought.
The thing is, too, it's like, well, I guess for Buffalo and Miami, it's the same case. But the thing is, too, it's a divisional opponent. You know them very well. You've played them, like they saw Brock Purdy on tape. They know what San Francisco wants to run against.
They got
them.
plenty of tape of Brock Purdy.
So I really like Seattle in this game. I like the +9.5. I might sprinkle a little money line. But
Brock Purdy to throw an interception.
That's a good call.
I like that pick.
That's a good call.
And it's going to be early. Like, it's either going to be their first or second possession.
If Seattle wins, I think you have to say both those things happen. I don't think Seattle wins.
I think Seattle definitely could still lose if those things happen. It's a long game, but
if Seattle wins, Brock Purdy throws in there.
Oh, yeah. Mm.
This next game,
very intriguing.
This could be the most exciting game of the weekend.
I love this matchup.
I think everybody loves this game.
Jacksonville gets a home playoff game, man.
Chargers in Jacksonville. Chargers are a 2-point favorite on the road. Over/under is 47.5. I want to preface this by saying Mike Williams may be out. We do not know for sure. We are tired of predicting it.
Same with who's the other player that is hurt for them? Don't they have somebody else?
Is it Bosa too?
Bosa.
Yeah.
Joey Bosa, yeah.
Now, Williams' X-rays came back negative, but
he's a hospital,
he was
bro.
being like carried out of the game or something like that.
You want to talk about a hospital? Mike Williams is.
Yeah, he is.
He has the worst legs I've ever seen.
They literally just have a wing dedicated to him.
His knees and ankles are the weakest thing I've ever seen, bro.
I'll go first on this game. I've gone back and forth.
It's the hair bowl, also.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
I like that.
I've
run back and forth on this game. I've liked the over. I've liked the under. I've liked the Jags. I've liked the Chargers. I couldn't make up my mind. And what led me to this pick, and I don't know how I got to this pick, is the fact that the Jaguars were the worst team in the league last year, and they're going to win a game. Doug Peterson as a home underdog, I'm going to back him in that spot. You can't trust the Chargers. They're just one of those teams, and I don't know what it is. I just don't think the Chargers should be favored in this game. I think it should be Jacksonville -1 or -1.5.
I agree for sure. I think it should at least be a pick.
I feel like the Jags probably feel like they're a little disrespected in this spot. I'm taking the Jaguars.
I think the Jaguars feel like they're the better team overall, but the Chargers have been playing really, really good football in the last month. That makes it really hard for me to pick against them. And the Doug Peterson factor might be...
Think about the coaching matchup.
That's what I mean. These teams...
Fuck Brandon Staley.
Yeah, Brandon Staley. Am I going to trust him if the game gets close?
Stinky.
That's why I think I want to give Jacksonville the edge. Now, I think because I really like Jacksonville,
it's skewing you a little bit.
It was skewing me towards Los Angeles because what you were saying about the Chargers, you can't trust the Chargers. And because you can never trust the Chargers, it makes me want to kind of pick the Chargers because how many times are the Chargers going to charge her anytime they get a chance to?
Yeah.
But I don't know. Doug Peterson's just a guy who's been there, and Brandon Staley has shown that in these huge games that really matter, he can really freeze up when it comes to these coaching decisions.
The thing about this game is, sorry, were you done?
Yeah, I'm gonna pick. My next words were gonna be I'm picking Jacksonville plus the 2.
So there's a few different points with this game that leaves it so much up in the air, and I think that's why it's such an enticing matchup is because. Number one, I think Doug Peterson deserves all the credit in the world for turning this around. Like you said, like they were the worst team ever, and now they're a playoff team. I think it's all him. Very rarely do you see a team bring in a piece and then utilize that piece like to the utmost, degree, and that's Christian Kirk. Like I think like. He was
really good on the Cardinals.
He was really good on the Cardinals.
Signing.
He was overshadowed by DeAndre Hopkins. And then he goes and he's the number one guy in Jacksonville, and they're giving him the ball. They're feeding him the ball, and he's had a great year. Number two, I don't think we can just forget about what the Chargers have done this year, even with the fadedness of Brandon Staley sometimes.
That's what I mean. They played so
Austin
good in the last one.
Eckler is one of the best receiving backs I think I've ever seen. I mean, he is...
Sure.
Especially the second half of the year, he's been chugging along. And let's not forget, too, just like the Chargers like the Charger, Jacksonville almost chargered that game against Tennessee. So, man, this game is so tough.
It's tough. I
thought through that whole monologue I was going to decide in my brain what I was going to pick, but I think home dog, Doug Peterson being the best head coach, I'm gonna give it to Jacksonville here.
I think it almost makes me like the Jaguars more that they really didn't play that good last weekend against the Titans, and that Trevor didn't look very good at all either.
ETN didn't look very good.
No. So if they had any, they were hot for a while. If they had any jitters, hopefully they got it out last weekend. And
Agnew has been very good for them recently.
So I just looked it up. Jaguars 20-1 to win the AFC. I think that's worth a little look-see, honestly.
Those are good odds. I think it probably would have been a little bit meatier last week before that game.
As soon as I said it,
did it go down?
They just locked everything.
Oh my God, they're winning the AFC.
Yeah. They could keep it close.
Honestly, you gotta roll some of your winnings on the Jags to win the AFC. You gotta throw like $20.
$20 on it?
I mean, they were responsible for you.
Yeah, you didn't even realize you won $2,100. You gotta throw like $20 on them to win the AFC.
And then I'll forget about it again.
Yeah, and then the Super Bowl comes around and he's like,
dude, why do I have $600?
Literally.
So old.
No, but they really could. They could stay close with any team in the AFC right now that's in this playoffs.
The other thing about this game,
they
too,
could get killed by a Buffalo or a Kansas City,
yeah.
but if they play the right game, then I don't know.
The other thing, too, is we saw this game earlier this year. The Jags murdered them.
Yeah, but everybody was hurt.
So, like, that was the game that Herbert came back from his rib injury, and I think Williams was out. Keenan might have even been out, too. But
Yeah, Keenan and Williams were both
so,
out.
yes, you can't take that into, your whole handicapping or whatever you want to call it for this game, but, like,
yeah,
they beat them by 4 touchdowns. At no point was that.
It's definitely good to note for sure.
So, like, I don't know.
That's the other thing. Every single game this weekend is a rematch of a regular season game.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting too. All right, round of Jags, huh?
Yeah, round of Jags. I did not think that. I really did not think that was.
When I was driving here, I was expecting myself.
I changed my mind when before the podcast. I was like, I like the Chargers in that game, but
when I first looked at the games this weekend, my eyes locked on 2 games. It was the Giants game, and it was the Chargers game, and I was like, I love the Chargers, and I talked myself off the ledge.
Same here, yeah.
That is surprising. I thought that I would see a lot of the money be on Jacksonville because the world
people.
No, I watched a segment of, I forget what show I was watching.
Now.
They loved the Chargers. They weren't even sniffing Jacksonville. I was like, bro.
People don't believe in Jacksonville. That's
and I think that's gonna work to Jacksonville's benefit.
I think people want to believe in the Chargers. Like people are like, oh, the Chargers are a fun team. Whereas like
I don't give a shit about them anymore. They've been a fun team for the last 3 years. They don't do anything.
I think everyone loves Justin Herbert.
I think people want the Chargers to be what the Jaguars are gonna be.
That's a great point because. Put Doug Peterson as their coach. Holy shit! They're Super Bowl. They're Super Bowl contenders.
The Chargers coach, and it would be a whole different story.
They're Super Bowl contenders for sure.
Miami. No Teddy. No Tua. Skylar Thompson starting. Plus 13 in Buffalo. Over under is 43.5 points.
13? You have 13?
Yeah.
I think they really, really, really want to kick the shit out of Miami because they lost Miami earlier in the year, and they also got kind of outplayed by Miami late in the season in that game in Buffalo until it started snowing. They want nothing else but to ravage their divisional opponent, and they're gonna.
How do you look at yourself in the mirror and take Miami?
You can't.
You can't.
I was telling me and Nolan were looking back on some of the old Underdog Sports like posts on Instagram, and I saw like a post from like a year and a half ago that said Buffalo minus 16.5 in his pick 3. I'm like, you love big Buffalo spreads. He's like, oh yeah,
yeah, he does.
But
because they're a wagon.
Yeah,
they are a wagon.
And anytime they're favored, it's just Vegas screaming at you that this is going to be a rout by Buffalo. I think that's the situation here. I don't think Skylar Thompson will be able to do anything in this spot. I mean, the way that they barely beat the Jets, bro. If the Jets weren't the Jets, like they did not have any offense in that game. It was 9-6. That's how the game should have ended. I got fucked by the spread. Yep. It was 3.5. Yep. I got fucked by it. Aw, get raped.
That's what you're the drugs.
That's what I get for doing it. I know. Yeah, I don't see Miami doing anything.
No they just fired LaFleur, by the way, too. I got the notification.
Did they?
What, just move. Now?
Yeah.
Not the Packers.
Oh.
The Jets. Mike LaFleur. I couldn't remember his name for a second.
Got it. I don't think there's any analysis of this game. I think Buffalo goes in there and takes their ass, and it's on to next week for them. Like that's really all it comes down to.
I think so too.
I almost was gonna say before I started saying anything, like, do we need to spend that much time on this?
Yeah, no, like I don't like, and maybe that should be like the alarm bells that ring for me and say, okay, take a step back and like look at Miami here, but
But you just can't. You know.
No, I don't think so. This is the team
they're
that
banged up. They're a warm weather team. I just feel like there's way too much to go against them, and it's like. Even if it's close for 3 quarters, Buffalo can put 2 touchdowns on your head in 3 seconds. Like they did that against the Patriots.
Yeah, you're talking about a team that just put a 35 against one of the best defenses in the NFL. So
and Miami's defense has been bad.
Terrible.
Last week they played Joe Flacco, so obviously they look good. But
that was the worst game
ever.
That was such a bad game, dude.
No, Georgia TCU was the worst game.
Okay, I'm saying NFL.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah, but I mean that's SEC.
Sprinkled a little bit on TCU money line before the game.
Yeah, I did. I'm not proud of it.
It was too tempting.
It really was.
The 13.5, I was like,
yeah.
And then it was plus 330, I think, on the money line. I was like,
I love my SEC schools, so there was never.
Yeah,
I would have never done that.
I texted one of my buddies after the first drive, because I told him I was like, I like TCU tonight, and I texted him after the first drive. I was like, oh, it's over.
Yeah.
I was like, sorry.
TCU, they couldn't stop a nosebleed.
After one drive, I was like, this.
I thought they'd be kicking their ass after like a half, so I go to check my phone because I wasn't watching it.
Was it at half?
I was watching
35-7.
38-7.
38.
So I was like, they're probably winning like 20, like 8-14 or something like that. And I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Bro, did you see the interview that the TCU head coach gave at halftime?
No.
Bro, it was faded.
Did you
he was like, oh, I think we just need to get warmed up into the game. Warmed up into the game?
Yeah, dude.
It's 38-7.
I mean, what are you gonna say at that point?
Half of the game is over.
It's like you can't say we're done. Like you.
No. But like it wasn't even like, oh, we need to do this, and this, make adjustments. I was like, yeah, I think we just need to get warmed up into the game. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Warmed up into the game, you faded animal.
Did you hear Kirby Smart's speech before the game?
I saw that on Twitter today. I didn't listen to the audio
you
though.
should listen to it.
Yeah, he's a good coach.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, he just went back to back, so with Stetson Bennett,
with an old man
who's older than half the quarterbacks in the NFL.
In the playoffs, I think he's
Does
older
he go to the
he's
NFL?
older than 5 dudes in the playoffs.
Yeah, but who's drafting him?
Nobody.
I would think not. I don't know.
Is he just gonna be the next Doug Flutie?
No.
I don't know.
Who would draft him though? Who would draft him?
Patriots.
Don't fucking say that. He's not from Alabama, so they're not drafting him.
All right, let's get off Stetson Bennett.
Yeah, next game.
Giants. I'm dying to hear Antonio talk about this. At the Vikings.
Okay, so the splits aren't as bad as I thought. See, TV, the way TV and sports media would have me thinking is that I would go on the Vikings and Giants game, and I would see public bets on the Giants spread. I thought I was going to see
like 50-50,
fucking 70-something percent.
Yeah, it's like 50-50.
It's like 50-50. All I've heard all week is how the Giants are going into
The
Minnesota
trendy
this
pick,
week.
yeah. -3.
It's hard to argue against it, though. It really is, because
I'll pick against it.
They play. Someone's gotta. I'm obviously not gonna pick against it, but Kirk Cousins playing in games later than 1 o'clock in his entire career is 10-24.
I think it's gonna be 11-24. I think we're gonna get good Kirk Cousins this week. I don't think this is where he blows it yet, and I know that's what, because you don't want to know why. That's what everyone is expecting.
Mm-hmm. That's
why everyone's high on the Giants.
Right.
Nobody believes in Kirk Cousins.
Daniel Jones' prime time and late game record is
and
not
any
good.
time no one believes in Kirk Cousins is when he does his best. I think Kirk Cousins does fine. I think he throws to Justin Jefferson every play. Justin Jefferson has 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. I think that this is just a Minnesota wire-to-wire route right here. Not route.
Jesus.
That was bad, but wire-to-wire win here. I think
Well, I think they definitely want to avoid. These are two teams.
28-20.
Yeah, these are two teams that played nonstop one-score games the entire year, and they're both keep it close kind of mentality kind of thing. Minnesota would definitely rather not get into another situation where they need to win it on the last drive or two, but.
Yeah, I think this is a case where it's close the whole game, and then Minnesota pulls away towards the end with a drive that just breaks the Giants back. Like Daniel Jones will fumble or throw an interception, and then they'll go down and get a quick touchdown. It'll just be demoralizing.
Right. I can see that demoralizing Daniel Jones moment kind of happening after a year of positivity. Where it gets interesting is that when these two teams played 2 weeks ago, the entire Giants defense was hurt. It was just second, third stringers everywhere over that defense, and they kept it close.
I just don't think they have anybody that can keep up with Justin Jefferson. And that's an issue. That's going to be an issue for any team.
Their top 2 corners were not in that game. Love was not in that game, and I forget the other guy's name all the fucking time. The guy, McKinney, the dude that broke his hand. He wasn't in that game either. And Justin Jefferson, I can't remember if did he have a great game or what?
Like 130, just like
that's good.
Run of the mill damn.
Yeah, run of the mill games. So when you have two,
his run of the mill game,
when you have two
like
competent corners
and
out there
touchdown.
and a pretty decent secondary and a D line that is really buzzing, and I think can give Kirk Cousins a lot of issues because the offensive line for the Vikings hasn't looked fantastic.
How good am I? 133.
133? That's pretty good.
Nice.
I don't know. Obviously, I'm picking the Giants. Let's move on to Sal. I'm sure he wants to talk about this game.
I've had just the most
48 is the over?
Yeah.
In a Giants game?
Yeah, that should go over, right? Or are you saying under?
Under because the Giants don't play in very high scoring games.
I mean, Minnesota could easily break.
Minnesota's
30
going
points.
to score though. So
I want to sit here and back the Giants. I've thought the Giants all week. I've been very actually confident in the Giants. The more I think about this game, the more I just think I'm wrong.
Me too.
I don't know.
But I'm a Giants fan.
And Antonio, I can't pinpoint what it is. I want to sit here and be like, Giants +3 is a great bet. They're going to keep this game close. I feel like if it's 14-0, then it turns into like 42-0.
Yeah, I've seen the Giants get their asses beat bad by the Vikings before.
So like
The story with the Giants is they're coming from behind victories, but
Yeah,
I don't
but
see
that's
it
also
this time
Isn't that the Viking story too?
I just think this is
for one game.
I just think this is one of those where you want to believe in the Giants and it's just not the right pick. So I'm gonna take Minnesota here, and that's not how I felt at the beginning of the week. But I feel like this is the right switch. I feel like I'm making the correct pick here.
Yeah, because the thing that made me confident was when everybody was like not believing in Kirk Cousins.
Well, you're right though. It's like whenever everyone does that, then it's like, oh.
That's
now-
where you like that came from.
Right.
Like nobody believed in him.
But like then he goes out there and throws for 380 and 3 touchdowns. And then you're like, oh, right, yeah, Kirk Cousins. Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's in this spot. I think that
And then
that's
the Pumpkins next week.
the Pumpkins next week.
So who would they play? So I guess we're assuming
well, they're the 3 seed.
we're assuming San Francisco wins, right?
Yeah,
I mean, I don't necessarily
between the
think that.
winner of Dallas and Tampa Bay.
So it would be a Dallas. Well,
Yeah,
you guys
let's.
aren't gonna say that. We'll wait.
Wait.
Baltimore at Cincinnati. Baltimore's an 8.5 point underdog. Over unders 40.5. We have no clue at this point who the quarterback's gonna be for the Baltimore Ravens.
I do
I'm
think
going
Lamar Jackson ends up playing.
I'm going first. I am a better of the number and the public. I am not a better of team or persona. That is why I'm taking the Ravens +8.5 here. I hate it. I hate it with every bone in my body. It's the right pick, though.
But they just played a close game last week, right? Without Lamar Jackson.
Close is kind of a not fair
That's a
way to
loose
put it,
term.
but they also are playing with their third stringer, and hopefully they either have their first or second stringer for this game. And I actually, and this is going to sound ridiculous, I like them more if Tyler Huntley plays over Lamar, because the perception is going to be that there's no shot that Tyler Huntley can win that game. Whereas I think if Lamar comes back after not playing for 6 weeks, he's going to look rusty compared to Tyler Huntley, who's been practicing.
I agree.
I like that point.
I like them no matter what. I like them even more if it's Huntley over Lamar. Give me the Ravens.
Tell me why you love Cincinnati, Antonio.
Because they're really good.
No.
No.
No. Because I don't think
Drake.
either pick is a good pick. I really don't.
Okay,
I think
well,
Cincinnati -8.5 is a really bad pick, to be perfectly honest with you.
It seems worse than taking Baltimore at the points because
Baltimore's
Baltimore's here.
is really good. And
Baltimore is here.
And they lost Alex Kappa. They lost their best guard, and they lost their left tackle the previous week. So they're down 2 offensive linemen. I'm not saying that means the Ravens like the Ravens.
No, I know that, and
I'm
their
just saying
defense is good. They just blow games.
I'm just saying the Ravens keep this close.
okay. I mean, I've said it before. They're the worst 10-win team ever.
Ever.
They shouldn't. I don't even think they should be in the playoffs.
So you're taking Cincinnati -1,000,000.
Oh yeah. Because just like how you're a better of the number, I'm a better of the team and the persona.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow. He just lives for these.
I think I'm gonna stay with that, Nolan. I really wanted to lean toward the Ravens, but
No.
I just think after last week,
The problem. Sorry.
that's the coolest guy in the NFL. You know what I mean? Like Burrow.
He's Joe Montana. He's Naismith. Like he
knows.
is the coolest
that's what
guy.
I mean. He knows this is the easiest game he's going to have in the playoffs so far, so they're just going to toss the ball.
The problem with being a better of the number and not the team is you get situations like this where Joe Burrow can just go out and spank you around.
And then you're just like, and then you're just shitting.
Just you have to watch Tyler Huntley try to come back from like 28-3 or 28-7. You're like, this is never happening. And then Joe Burrow's just on the sideline doing little dances, and Jamar Chase is just like.
I do think Lamar plays. That's just what I believe, because I really do think that he's ready to go. I don't think he's injured.
I mean,
I think he's milking it.
There are literal homes on the Cincinnati Bengals this week.
That's true. That's true.
People have put up second and third mortgages for the Cincinnati Bengals.
That is true.
So,
I think, I just think Cincinnati in this spot just should take care of business. I mean, the more I look at that 8.5, the more I think Baltimore is going to cover it. But I think it'd be a backdoor cover. But I'm just going to take my my gut and go with Joe Burrow.
I would love to go first on this game. Dallas at Tampa Bay. Dallas is a 2.5.
You want to go first? That's interesting.
Yeah, 2.5 point road favorite. Over under 45.5. There is so much conspiring against the Dallas Cowboys this week. They are awful in the playoffs. They're awful against Tom Brady.
They're awful against bad teams, which the Bucs are.
They're awful in those blue jerseys, apparently, which I learned that
they don't like those.
When they play in those blue jerseys, they're terrible. You want to know what that all means? It all cancels out. Dallas literally takes the crap out of this team. We're all forgetting that this Tampa Bay team is bad. We all are just like, oh, it's Tom Brady. It's the playoffs. He's going to rally the troops. It's going to be one of those years.
It's even what the people on TV are saying. They're like, listen, I don't have, a real solid argument for Tampa besides Brady and his history.
Which is funny because normally they're so against the Cowboys, but they were literally forced to take the Cowboys in this spot, so they were forced to talk good about the Cowboys. It was so funny.
Well, no, here's my thing. When are the Cowboys the worst? When they have high expectations. When everybody in the world is saying that.
I mean, I'd say that they have high expectations in this game.
I disagree.
I think they had high expectations in Week 18.
Well, that was another point I was going to make. They're always due for a stinker. Every 3-4 weeks, the Cowboys have a stinker. I think they got their stinker out last week, and I think they come out guns blazing Monday night. Tom Brady to throw a pick. Cowboys are winning by 10 to 14 points. I don't think this game is close at any point. I think the Cowboys are in a different lead than the Buccaneers are.
What do you think, Antonio?
I don't know. It's tough because what does Tampa Bay do not well? Run the ball. What do the Cowboys do the best? Run the ball. Tampa Bay's offensive line is not very good, and
Cowboys' defensive line
is top 5. But there's been some games where they've absolutely disappeared. Mm-hmm. But I mean, how do you beat Tom Brady? You knock him down.
You rush with 4. That's how you beat Tom Brady, and they can rush with 4. That's why I like it.
Now, on the Tampa Bay, arguing for the Tampa Bay, Dallas has done nothing but play down against their competition the entire year, and here's a good opportunity to do that in the playoffs. Play down against your competition. My gut and the smarts in my brain would tell me to pick Dallas, but I would never fucking pick Dallas, especially against Tom Brady. I would never fucking pick Dallas in the playoffs. I've only seen Dallas play close playoff games in which they normally lose. I've never seen them blow anybody out.
Which is precisely why I'm saying that they win by 10.
I know. That's why I wanted to take the Chargers in the other game because, of course, they're going to Charger, right?
Of course.
No, I'm going to be a simp, and I'm just going to keep rolling with the Bucs. Tom Brady, what else can he do besides, now he's going to be the first guy to win a Super Bowl with a losing record.
Put it on your video. Your time's over, buddy. You're past your prime. It's done.
Okay, Max.
His career definitely doesn't end with a loss to the Cowboys. Absolutely not.
I don't know if it ends with a loss to the Cowboys, but he's losing to the Cowboys Monday.
Well, if he loses the Cowboys Monday night, I see him going. If he keeps playing, maybe going somewhere else. But it will not be his last game. Is losing to the fucking Cowboys.
The Patriots. I thought you wanted him on the Patriots.
I mean, I do, but they're not.
I mean, if they get DeAndre Hopkins, I mean, that's enticing for me to go there. No.
Not if Matt Patricia's the offensive coordinator.
Well, he's gone.
Fuck, I'm not talking about.
I think he loves the idea of having a losing record and winning some playoff games. So
yeah.
So I'm actually with Antonio. Obviously, I mean, come on. There's nothing really I can say. All of your points, I agree with all of your points.
But it's Tom Brady,
and you're probably right.
Yeah.
Dallas might win by 30 points, and I definitely could see the Tampa Bay coming out and just being flat. like we see in the beginning of the year where they just are flat. Dallas takes advantage. Dallas runs the ball down their throat. Dallas scores a shit ton of points like they've been doing all year, and Tom Brady throws a stinker. But that is not what I think will happen. Tom Brady's going to win this game, and I'm never betting against Tom Brady.
These teams
in
have
the
played
playoffs
twice or 3 times since Brady's not in there.
Yeah, and Tampa Bay won last year in the opener.
By two.
By what was it? I thought it was 3 because then they missed a field goal.
31. I have it right here.
Oh, Dallas missed a field goal to win it.
Yeah, and then 19-3 earlier in the year. But Dallas's defense was dominating that whole game. Their offense just could not move the ball at all. And I think they figured out their offense. And yes, they scored 7 points last week. That really, or 6.
I mean, they have to be up there with points for in the league.
Dallas?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Now, if
They're not 1, they're definitely up there.
Listen, if Dallas's run stalls even in the least bit, and Dak needs to throw more than 25 times,
that's I don't like that at all. I think he's been really bad this year.
he has. He's been more turnover prone than he has ever.
Yeah,
been.
I mean he's up there tied for the.
Can we talk about who Tampa Bay has beaten though? They beat
Nobody good.
It doesn't matter.
They beat
Salad.
Carolina.
I was going to bring that up.
They beat Arizona.
I'm telling you, there is just no logical reason for anyone to pick Tampa Bay in this spot. There really isn't.
I think it's just silly to take Tampa Bay here.
I'm
I'm
Bozo
so
the Clown.
silly.
I'm Bozo the Clown. Put a
I'm-
red nose on me.
I'm betting Dallas money line. I'm betting Dallas minus 2.5. I might even sprinkle a Dallas minus 7.5. Or like
I think that's
8.5,
very smart.
honestly.
I'm Bozo the Clown.
Yeah,
Put a red nose on me.
I feel like this game should be. I feel like you two should be on Dallas, and I should be the one being like, "Oh, Tom Brady, Tampa Bay." I feel
I've
like
been on Tampa Bay all year. I said from the beginning of the year it is them in the Super Bowl, and I'm gonna stick to with my guns.
You both.
Me and him
have.
both just
Yeah.
said these picks aren't smart.
Yeah.
We
Oh
both
yeah,
said
no,
that.
100%. This pick is not smart. I just have to stick with my guns. I still
You're
think.
sticking by your guy.
I still think Tampa
Bay.
Bay. I still think
guy.
Tampa Bay is making the Super Bowl. I really do.
I think this is like, if you want a final score from me, 38-10 Dallas wins.
Okay, I like that.
I said 10-14, but now the more I think about it, they're really just hitting the crap out of them. It's like not even remotely close.
I think
Not even remotely.
I think this is 21-17 Bucks. That's what I think.
Because if this game does get close, the Buccaneers are winning it.
Yeah,
And I think it will stay close. I think that's how this game should happen. I think that's how it should happen. Two like really good teams with really good players in a playoff scenario. The game should always be close.
The real move is to bet Dallas first half and then hope that it's somewhat close and then hammer Tampa Bay second half.
I like that.
Move.
I like that.
But
It'd be like 13-10 Dallas at halftime.
if you bet that, you're laying your cock on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the second half.
Although I did just say it was 21-17 as the final score of Tampa Bay, but fuck it.
Fuck it.
Nothing has to make
Fuck it.
sense.
Nope, nothing makes sense in this game.
All right, one touchdown scorer of the divisional round. I need your lock. It can be anybody.
Ooh, that's a good
Like
question.
I have to look at the teams to remind
I mean, a
myself
lock
something
for
else
me
before I
is
look at
Justin
the playoffs.
Jefferson. What's a lock for me?
That should be a lock for anybody.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, McCaffrey scoring.
I like that. Who do you got?
Josh Allen.
Ooh, rushing touchdown from
Yeah.
Josh Allen. I like that. Should we go into?
Metcalf?
Let's go into one because we don't do pick 3.
We do a one single spread pick for the playoffs.
Well, because we used to do this. It can be one pick, whatever it is. It can be
Over under too.
it can be player prop,
Yeah.
over under,
Yeah.
or spread.
Yep.
So mine right now is Seattle plus 9.5.
I love it.
That's my pick of the weekend.
I'd at Dallas minus 2.5 was my favorite pick.
Okay.
Honestly, Buffalo with that big ass spread.
Really?
Oh, they're gonna annihilate.
I like
them,
it.
Sal. They're gonna annihilate them.
I like it.
You're not wrong, but it's just scary.
I know it's scary, but
Antonio, I hate betting favorites that are minus 13. Like, I hate more
Oh,
than
that
double digit.
number?
No,
Oh,
just,
yeah. I don't
just-
even think
no,
about that.
Just in, like 10 or more, I never feel safe in a
It's
game.
nerve-wracking.
No, because you could be up 35 and then like 2 bad things happen and you're sweating your bet.
well, and they just take their foot off the gas and they just don't care
But,
anymore.
no, I'm with you. I mean, Buffalo should kill them. Buffalo
yeah,
should
that's what I mean.
absolutely murder
With
them.
Thompson, and then like I said, with the history of the 2 games that already happened this year.
What you
I
gotta
think it
what you
lines
gotta
up
hope
pretty
for
perfectly.
in spots like that is that it's close in the first half or like remotely close, like within 10 points, within 10, 14 points, and then Buffalo just like wipes the
Yeah.
second half, which I think could easily happen.
I'm just looking at Any futures that we would like?
Jags.
What Bucks to make the Super Bowl would be mine for value even.
Yeah, I'm talking value. So like, I'll read them off. Eagles plus 170. This is just to win their conference. Eagles plus 175. 49ers plus 180. Cowboys 5-1. Buccaneers 10-1. Vikings 12-1. Giants 25-1. Seahawks 30-1. Why does it keep locking after I talk about this? That's the second time it's done that.
They must just be fucking around with the numbers.
Nonstop.
Because I'm pretty sure you said it was a different number before you said 30-something to 1.
Did I?
I'm pretty sure before it was a different number. It was like 20-1, I think.
Interesting.
So.
And then AFC, Chiefs plus 170. Bills 2-1. Bengals plus 450. Chargers 10-1, Ravens 18-1, Jaguars 20-1. I really like that. Dolphins 30-1.
Oh no, it was the Jaguars you were talking about.
Yeah.
It was the Jaguars you were talking about, and they locked it. I think Bills 2-1 is a great bet.
Bills 2-1 is a great bet.
I mean, I think even at how good they are and how good they've been this whole year, like that is really good value.
I mean, they're winning this week, and then are they beating? So they have to. You're betting plus 200 on them to be Cincinnati at home and Kansas City at a neutral site. I think that's.
And I think the neutral site is huge. That is huge.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to go to Arrowhead for the AFC Championship game.
No.
And I think the fact that they got out of doing that is not that they got out of doing that, but like the fact that that's like the case now, I think is huge for Buffalo. Huge.
I agree. I like them in that game against Cincinnati anyway, so in my mind, I still think Buffalo ends up the 1 seed, but you're so right.
If that's how it shakes out, that is going to be a great game.
You're so right.
Yeah, that's a great game. Cincinnati and Buffalo, I hope we get that.
I mean, we should have done it 2 weeks ago. I'm not
That's true.
saying anything bad about DeMar Hamlin, but that should have been what happened.
Yeah, and it definitely was on its way.
Yeah.
I mean, both teams scored on their first possession, and it was Cincinnati was moving the ball. But I think that playoff scenario type game is going to be a great game.
I think we're going to see it.
Joe Burrow going into Buffalo to play a game.
I think it's now destined to kind of happen at these teams meet again.
It has to, right? Like it's not. Or
Dude.
Is it's one of those. Well, I guess I could look at it either way. It's either destined to be a rematch and they have to decide it, or is it destined that it's a bad juju game and one of them is losing this weekend?
I know.
I hope not. I hope we do get that. I hope we do.
It's not going to be Buffalo.
So yeah, do the Bengals lose to the Ravens?
Fuck.
I mean,
No.
If the Bengals lose to the Ravens, just know
It's because Joe Burrow got hurt in the first
it's because there are 75 million homes across the United States that have their mortgage on.
Yeah,
the Bengals.
but listen, here's my argument with that is that sure, in that moment on Sunday, maybe Vegas and the NFL loses a lot of money on all the homes being on Cincinnati if Cincinnati wins, but what about other opportunities in the future to make a lot of money off Cincinnati? You got to keep that in play too.
Antonio, I don't know. They got everyone puckered out for this one.
I don't give a fuck.
But I think
there's
also
money to be
too,
made in the future.
if there continues to
there's
be
more people that think about that.
If there continues to be homes put on Cincinnati, I think that they make the line enticing enough where people are going to start betting Baltimore to even it out.
Well, at what point does that happen? Because it's still 75% on Cincinnati.
10, 11, 12. Like I mean, you took Baltimore.
Because I'm an idiot.
You said it was the smart bet.
It's not.
It's the smart idiot bet.
It's the smart idiot pick, yes.
Idiot
that's
bet.
just a good line though. I feel about taking out.
Exactly. So if it goes up to 10, I think people might go, especially if they hear Lamar's playing.
Well, nobody's betting Ravens money line in this game.
No, absolutely not. Why would you?
I know someone.
But then again, nobody's betting Buffalo money line,
Obviously.
or nobody's betting Miami money line, right?
Yeah. But like one of those isn't going to happen. That's the thing. You can't just go Cincinnati, Buffalo, 49ers money line parlay.
Never chalk in the
It
NFL.
never
It's
works.
Never gonna
That
work.
never works.
No, it doesn't. But I think I think
honest-
Seattle could beat San Fran. I will come out and say that Seattle could beat San Fran. So we're gonna get one. You always get one.
Because if this is even money, then this is definitely not. If this is even money, this is 100% not winning.
What is?
Bengals, Dolphins, 49 or Bengals, Bills, 49ers.
It's probably like plus 210.
No, it's minus 140.
Oh my god.
I mean, maybe it could happen.
Holy shit.
If it was even money, yeah.
Minus 140.
You're picking 3 playoff games and you don't even get even money for it. That's awful.
Wow.
That means they're all winning them. I don't know, maybe not. Who knows? We don't know. We're just guessing.
Maybe
Who knows? It's the playoffs, and what's exciting about the playoffs is that anything can happen. Especially in the NFL, anything can happen.
I can't believe this fuck to my right really won that bet.
Hey, that was a great bet.
No, it's a great bet.
It's a great bet.
I just want to know what possessed you on August 21st to say these 3 teams are winning. It had to have been.
It must have been right after the podcast. It must have been
Let's
that
look
night.
at what day of the week.
Well, look at what
It
time.
must have been we did the podcast.
Look at what time it was. That's what I'm more interested in.
Okay.
It must have been we did the podcast. You guys
August
went,
21st was indeed a Wednesday, and we always do it on Wednesday. Yeah, Sal, this had to have been the podcast.
What was the
we picked
time?
our
Does
division
it give you a
winners.
timestamp?
Well, I feel like we did that one early in the day because it was the
Probably. I mean, so here's the thing. We probably did it,
Still working though. I don't know.
and you guys probably went to Alan's house at night, and you guys were talking about it.
No,
Hit the
'cause
pen a
that's
couple
when-
times. You
This
probably were.
must have been later actually because I was like hiking or some shit probably, and we would do the podcast a little later because I wouldn't be back.
I guess the time doesn't matter. Then, but
Well, hold on. If it's at nighttime, we know.
If it was before
If
the
it's-
podcast, you are on heroin.
If it's past like 6 o'clock, then yeah, it happened.
Well, no,
That one.
because I think we did that one for whatever reason. I remember it being earlier in the day. That AFC.
I feel like the ones we do for those, normally we do
If it's like 3, I'm pretty confident.
because
it was
I wasn't working yet.
If it was like 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, it was after the podcast. In my
Did you had your job?
6:31.
Right?
6:31 p.m.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
This is definitely right after the podcast. You're a crackhead. You're not
like I might have done it in the fucking middle of it.
I'm telling you, you 110,000% had $50 laying in your DraftKings, and you're like, oh well, gotta put some money on this. Like you were just like, oh,
Yeah, we definitely. It was definitely right
Sal,
after.
I think I had. It's starting to come back to me a little bit. I think I had 100s like even sitting in my DraftKings.
Oh, you should have put it on it.
No shit, Sal. I think I was like,
No
all right, I'm gonna use-
shit.
I was probably like, I'm gonna use 50 for this, then I'm gonna use 50 to win something else.
You probably did some other like MLB.
It was probably
parlay.
the worst parlay too.
Oh, never mind. I didn't place any other bets on August 21st.
Well, no, that's only your one, right?
Oh yeah.
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 Whatever.
So, yeah,
All
I
right.
thought-
Yeah,
I didn't
complain
lose
about
anything-
complain
I
about.
didn't lose anything on an
2,100.
MLB game. I don't bet on an MLB. You
As
know
you're
that.
like as you're like itching.
All
I'm
right,
just
fellas.
itching for baseball. Oh, I did actually. As I say that, the bet I won right before the Jags bet was a MLB bet, ball/hit by pitch, and the result was a ball, and I won $27.
That's probably why you had that money.
Crackhead.
Yeah, you are a crackhead.
That's the only. I've never bet a baseball spread, but I have bet on the outcome of a
Ball or
pitch.
strike. That's terrible.
All right. Are
Thank
we
you.
good, gentlemen?
Go
We will
Cowboys.
be live streaming one of the games this
We're
weekend.
live streaming
yeah.
the Cowboys game.
The Cowboys and Bucks game. We will
Monday.
be live streaming Monday.
Oh,
so tune in
home-
for that.
Home on the Bucks, son. Everyone, sorry.